government, and at large in the society. With the inflow of multinational players in Indian clinical research, the industry is poised to grow exponentially and open up new vistas of employment for a large number of people. Today, we are privileged to join here together to know more about the industry growth, scope, and opportunities to different medical and allied medical students from the industry expert speaker, Mr. C.S. Mujibuddin, founder and CEO of Clinisol Research Private Limited. I am very glad today to announce an overwhelming response from the Unani fraternity. They have joined us with more than 400 plus registrations from across different colleges of India and from abroad, with more than 75% being the students and around 25% of the faculty and head of the departments. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Muhammad Ehsan Farooqi sir, and our guest speaker, Mujibuddin sir, and also convey my thanks to my fellow FUMO friends who have initiated this event, and with kind support of Clinisol, will be presenting today the topic of the most awaited topic, that is the scope of clinical research in Unani medicine, growth and opportunities. With this, I would like to conclude, and please stay connected to our webinar. Hope you will all like it. Jazakallahu khair. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Dr. Hosia ma'am. We need your support to make this event fantastic. Now, I would like to request Dr. Asma Sultana ma'am, MD General Medicine, General Secretary of FUMO, to give an introduction of FUMO and address today's session. Dr. Asma Sultana ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Nouri. Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon to our today's guest of honor, Dr. Ehsan Farooqi sir, our guest speaker, Mr. Mujib sir, and to all of them who are watching us today live on YouTube. This is Dr. Asma here, founder and General Secretary of FUMO, Feminine Unani Medical Organization. I hope our today's webinar will prove informative and will create new scopes for our young graduates. As more than 500 viewers are with us on YouTube, let me first briefly introduce our our FUMO, that's Feminine Unani Medical Organization, and as most of us don't know us, as we have launched this FUMO year itself. So let me first share my screen. I hope the screen is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
FUMO, that's Feminine Unani Medical Organization, has taken its first step by launching its brochure at GNTC through our Ehsan Farooqi sir. It's basically a core Unani medical organization which is formed by the female group.
Fantastic. With this, the world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today to build this event. With this note, may I request our chief guest, renowned physician, a teacher, a professor, international face of Unani system of medicine, Dr. Muhammad Ehsan Farooqi sir, HOD, PG Department of Molijat, Government Nizamiya Tibbi College, Charminar, Hyderabad, to grace this session and address us and our live audience. I request Dr. Muhammad Ehsan Farooqi sir to please represent the audience.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Myself, I'm a professor, Government Nizamiya Tibbi College, as well as I'm HOD of PG Department of Molijat and Department of Ilm Jarat also right now. And I welcome you all on behalf of this webinar, that is scope of clinical research in Unani medicine, growth and opportunities. And I'm really thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given me immense thanks from FUMO also, and the organization Feminine Unani Medical Organization, that is FUMO, and the Clinisol, Mr. C.S. Mujibuddin, who is the research Dr. Gausia Tabassum, and she is MD, PG, and pursuing PhD from JMI. First of all, I would like to request all the audience to mute their screens, so that they can hear the speakers well. Number one point, and we should know the importance of Unani medicine in the current scenario first, before going for the clinical research. And the clinical research standard should be up to the international one. And unless and until we don't meet the standard, we are not supposed to present our system of medicine to the world. That is very eminent, and this should be there in each and every PG scholars and the research scholars who was doing research. And there is no need. I think that there is no need that a PG scholar should do the research. A Unani physician can also do the research in a particular given topic. And unfortunately, a lot of hue and cry is going on in the system of medicine in the recent past. And unfortunately, Unani medicine is also dragged in this controversies. And I request you all to pick a topic. For example, particularly in female doctors, to pick a topic as PCOS and thyroid, which is very much there in the current scenario and day-to-day practice, and do the research and take the patient's data and before treatment data, during treatment data, and after treatment data, and publish in international journals. That is the eminent thing and important thing in the research criteria right now. And unless and until you don't publish it, nobody knows about your potential, your own potential, the potential of the Unani system of medicine. And I know that just as I'm chairing the head of the department chair right now, I know that a lot of knowledge is there, potential is there in the doctors, in the Unani physicians, and particularly in lady doctors also, because they are doing PG in general medicine. In spite of that, they are ladies they are doing general medicine because the scope is there. That's what I want to give you one message through this platform, that the scope is very wide and the canvas is very big, and you can put your name in that canvas. It's very empty, and unless until you don't put your name on that canvas, nobody knows you, nobody knows your system. That is the eminent and that is the most important point. And today we are discussing, and hope that you will enjoy your stay during this session. And I would like to again thank all the audiences, all the people across the world who are with us today. And go ahead, inshallah, jazakallah, you will enjoy. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ehsan Farooqi, sir, for your inspirational and thoughtful-provoking words. I am very much thankful for your wonderful message and thought. Inshallah, as a student, we will follow your advice. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
With his message, now I would like to call Dr. Asma Sultana ma'am for introduction of FUMO. Dr. Asma Sultana ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for the inconvenience. There was a issue of power with over here. So let me share my screen. So I was just giving you the introduction regarding the FUMO, the various activities done by the FUMO. Now, it is founded by a few core female Unani doctors with a vision of new creation, new transformation, and nurturing of the society. It is basically for the feminine gender of Unani fraternity founded by the female doctors. Let's have a glance at FUMO. It runs under the Medivision Society, which was established and registered in the year 2013. And under this banner, we have run many government projects and medical camps. It's absolutely a non-government, a non-aided organization with an aim to enlighten the work of Unani females, to bring out the ruling quality of every woman, which is hidden behind the curtains of various hurdles, to give them opportunity to put their efforts together towards upliftment of the system, and to represent their works without any restrictions. Now our message is of hope and compassion. We have laid down our first step by launching its brochure at GNTC through Dr. Ehsan Farooqi sir. In its inaugural session took place on its 1st February 2020, where we have felicitated retired lady lecturers of Unani system as a Lifetime Achievement Award and to renowned female physicians as well. Our projects we have launched, we have taken many projects on our hand. We have conducted free medical camps in various areas of Hyderabad. In these camps, we have given free consultation by our experienced physicians along with free distribution of medicines. We know well that the whole world is going through pandemic, COVID-19. So FUMO has taken another initiative to distribute the free food and grocery packages among needy in the month of Ramadan. FUMO has launched online medical tutorial, first of its kind for all Ayush students to take digi classes on various subjects of medicine. To keep updating medical graduates and practitioners, we have started series of webinars, giving them the learning platform to showcase their capabilities on digital screen. So we have conducted the series of webinars on various the dates, and it was just not an opportunity to the teachers, but also to the students to represent their capabilities. We have called the students from various Unani Medical colleges to, on the same platform to showcase their capabilities. And fourth webinar was conducted in memory of our late practitioners. The Unani physicians who have died suffering from COVID-19, and they got contracted this COVID-19 while serving the COVID-19 patient victims. And after then, we have distributed the posthumous award among them. And the record of our digital activities is updated on our YouTube channel. That's FUMO Medivision. We have also conducted a series of medical camps for the flash flood affected victims. As we all know that the Hyderabad has faced another tragedy with the flood. So we have provided free on-site consultation, free teleconsultation, and free distribution of medicines among the victims. So we have conducted the camps at various areas of Hyderabad, where even the students was able to get the learning platform. Recently, we have been called upon by the NCC officers to introduce the Unani system of medicine to the NCC candidates. So there we have conducted a seminar where the NCC candidates have been gathered from the various states of India. So we have introduced our Unani system to them. So with this, I would like to conclude my words with the hope of taking upcoming projects actively. And please be connected till the end of this webinar. Hope you all will be benefited, inshallah. Jazakallahu khairan. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Asma Sultana, ma'am. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box or can ask after the session. I will bring them up and we will also have time for questions at the end. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over the guest speaker. Our today's guest speaker is C.S. Mujibuddin, sir. Mr. Mujibuddin, sir, is currently the founder of CEO for the Clinisol Research Private Limited, an emerging clinical research education and resource management company that deals with the training, clinical research projects, and resource management in clinical research and its allied branches to pharmaceutical companies, contract research organization, site management, organizations, and independent human ethics committees. With his 15 years of journey in varied branches of clinical research, he has resigned from his duties to follow his passion for teaching and he has started his organization on the name of Clinisol Research Private Limited in March 2019. His motto is to bring up all the emerging pharma, medical, and life sciences talent from academics and to introduce it to the companies where the companies have to spend an enormous amount of money on training alone. Since the inception of Clinisol, it is proud moment to achieve near 100% placement record with a hand-in-hand relationship with pharmacy colleges, India's most prestigious pharmacy association like IPA as well as the industry. He has conducted countless workshops, seminars, symposiums, conferences, faculty development programs, and live online events at various academy institutions and online. With his continuous hard work and contribution made to clinical research education and resource management services, Clinisol has recently received the Most Innovative Clinical Research Training Organization Award for the year 2018 and 19 during an international conference held in Goa. He is currently training hundreds of students through his online training aimed COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, as he believes in continuous education is the only way to survive in this competitive world. With his efforts, Clinisol is able to place lots of students even during lockdown and work from home, jobs as well as internship for final year pursuing students. With this, I would like to invite Dr. MC Mujibuddin sir. Dr. MC Mujibuddin sir as a guest speaker.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So I'll be sharing my screen without much delay because most of students and faculties are waiting. So I know post-lunch sessions are very difficult. It's a very sleepy sessions after having lunch, but I'll make sure that you are not sleeping in the sessions. And without much delay, I'll share my screen, and I need one time before I'm sharing the screen. So how many of you think that scientific evidence-based studies are needed in human beings before any drug or herbal product or any, irrespective of product, what it is, what system it is, it has to be tested in human beings before it goes into market? So I think most of us will believe this, that we need to have scientific evidence-based studies to make sure that we are able to bring a drug or a herbal product to the market. So without much delay, my question is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'll start a story here. This 2020 has given a biggest challenge to every one of us because it was a pandemic. It was a danger to humanity. And the first person and foremost person who were looked, who were asked these questions was the healthcare professional. It may be Ayurvedic or Unani or allopathy or whoever it is. One primary question was asked is, why can't we treat COVID? So what is there that we are unable to bring one molecule to a market which can give a treatment to COVID? This was a major question which was being asked. Why are we spending so much of time for bringing one molecule to market? So I can give you hundreds of examples. Humanity is suffering with many kind of diseases, and we are being blessed that we are working in healthcare professionals and we are able to understand the pain of the patients and we are able to treat the pain of the patients. So I think I'll modify a little bit question here. Patanjali was there, and Patanjali came saying that we have conducted clinical trial studies on a herbal product, herbal drug, which was called as Coronil. So when they started saying this in a media, the next day, the Ayush government of India, Ayush people came and said that no, it was not believed that Coronil was being tested on human beings. So if you are saying that this drug was really acting on COVID, so but Ayush has said that no, it was not being tested in NIMS hospital, which they said that it was tested in Jaipur. So then later on, Patanjali came up and said that no, it's not a treatment, it's just an immunity booster. It's an immunity booster which can boost the immunity and prevent the COVID. So, and it's not a treatment of COVID. So now here one small difference I wanted to tell is the evidence-based studies. So if you have a evidence, I think Farooqi sir has rightly said that you have to show an evidence that either it is herbal product or either it is any product which you think that it can show some difference in humanity. We have to conduct clinical research. So that's my focus points, that how are you going to do a clinical research? Now, I think most of you students or faculties or so many people, you may have some research questions in your mind. You may have research questions in your mind saying that, okay, obesity is the biggest problem. So I want to understand the obesity and I want to bring a product for a obesity in my system, which is in Unani system. So how can I do that? So this is what is my topic or discussion. The first and foremost thing, what you have to understand is the global standards which are being dealt. Now, if you want to go into Indian market, yes, of course, you can follow some standards set by the Ayush and you can get the product into the market. But for example, if you want to bring a Unani product other than India, then what are we going to do? So I'm focusing today on international standards and how the products can be delivered. And I have to speak in little while for this. I'm speaking about drugs. It may be a drugs, it may be a devices, it may be a cosmetics, or it may be a vaccine. If you want to go for a cosmetics also. For example, you want to bring one toothpaste. And now when you bring a toothpaste and show in a market saying that my product is very good, but now words we will not believe, because 2020 was a time where scientific questions were being asked. So now I'll go and ask, boss, you are selling your toothpaste, very good, thank you so much, but you show me how that toothpaste is showing a difference in human beings. What is the research data you have? What studies you have conducted? Either it is observational or interventional, how many subjects you have taken to show that this can avoid your problems, dental problems. So now either it is drugs, devices, cosmetics, or vaccines. Everything is being covered in our clinical research. So if you want to bring a new product, understand it, it has to be tested in a right way, scientific way, evidence way. Real world studies has to be done before it comes into market. So that is what is my focused point today. I hope I'll not make you boring in this session, during my session. So my topic, career scope in clinical research, growth and opportunities. Yes, there is a lot of scope for either any drug to come into market. This is a global standard. I'm one more time reiterating, this is a global standard which we are seeing in this picture. So I want to club global standards here. So I have given a funnel here. You go into a discovery model in labs and bring one molecule. Either it is Unani system, whatever system it is, you club some molecules and bring one product. And then if it is new drug, which was not there in the market, if it is new drug, then this is the process. I'm sorry. This is the process. Once you have discovered in the lab, you go for animal studies. Once animal studies, you are showing some of the efficacy and safety. Yes, this drug is safe for human beings, you can go ahead. Then you are going to submit an application which is called as IND to the regulatory bodies. The regulatory bodies in the world, or different bodies are there, either it is FDA or EMEA or MHRA or HAD or DCGI, whatever it is under our government, we have to submit an application which is saying that IND application with showing evidence that we have really tested on animals and animals have not shown any dangerous effects on the new drugs. And then you go ahead and you take it up. Once the approval of IND is done, you go and do the testing in human beings. So now here we are focusing more on animals are different from human beings because animals have a different physiological activity and humans are physically or biologically different, and you cannot control human beings with respect to how you are controlling animals. If you give 50 mg of drug to animal, it will take only 50 mg. But if you go and tell patient that, okay, boss, take 50 mg, but patient may take 100 mg or 200 mg, assuming that if I take a more drug, I'll get treated more good. So there are so many flaws in this. So that's why human trials are so much important for us. And once phase 1, 2, 3 is done, you go for a submission of application, which is called as NDA submission, new drug application, and with the data with human beings and as well as animal studies and as well as CMC data, and you get the drug approved to the market. Once you get approval to the market. Now, do we think that our work is done? Answer is no, never. Because we have tested on controlled human beings, but still we really don't know what are the unexpected adverse events we may get, what are the unexpected side effects we may get. Here I want to reiterate a word called as side effect. Okay, now the word side effect is either it is herbal product or allopathy product or Ayurvedic product, whatever it is. Any unintentional activity is considered as side effect. Now your intention is you have to reduce only fever. Apart from reducing fever, it is giving a good activity also, it is considered as an adverse event. Either it is good or bad, because I have only said that my drug will work for this. It has to only work for that. Anything other than that will be considered as an adverse event. And long term, if you are taking this drug product, what are the issues you are getting? So we will continue assessing in phase 4 or post-marketing surveillance or the pharmacovigilance. So this is the slide. In a brief snapshot I can show you, but here is one clause. Now, for example, you have a product which is already there in the market, and you want to club the other product. You want to club the other product and bring a combination of product. You don't need to follow this all steps because you have already literatures for respective two products. You can do one interventional study on human beings, collect that data, manage the data, clean the data, analyze the data, report that data, and you will get approval. Yes, but if it is a new product, this is a long structure you have to do, and it takes nearly 10 to 15 years to bring a drug to a market. And remember, patents has to be taken care, because if you bring a drug product to a market, it means that you want to sell with your patents. So this is the brief overview of the clinical trials. And yes, what is this clinical trial studies? One thing is animal studies, and next one human safety studies, and next one dose escalation studies, and next one safety and efficacy studies. So we have classified different phases. As I said one more time, if it is new study, new molecule which was not been identified earlier, you have to cross all this barrier. But if it is already existing molecule and you want to change its indication, you want to change its formulation, you want to change its activity, then you don't need to perform this. You can submit one pilot study or one pivotal study with a good number of sample size where regulatory bodies can accept, okay, this many people you have done, very good, you go into market, but submit every year your pharmacovigilance data, your safety data. So this is where this comes into picture. So our main focus, the clinical research main focus, is on phases of trials, clinical trials. Either it is phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 3 or phase 4 or extended safety studies. So we will break down only the human being studies, that what are the scope we have, what are the jobs we have, and how are we working on this jobs. Either it is any doctors or pharmacists, pharmacologists, whatever it is, how are we going to work on this, we are going to discuss about. So a quick recap, as I said, discovery process, it's a very challenging step, but the biggest activity is almost all MNC companies are spending 8 to 10% of their profit for R&D, research and development. So you can understand how much money is going into the discovery and development. Always discovery starts in laboratory. So this is one more time a problem for you. I'll tell you the latest standards what we have. Earlier days, we used to call from lab to patient, bench to patient. So something, you have a lab, you test a lab, and you bring the drug to the patient. But now it's a reverse. It's a reverse. It means that you have a patient. You have a patient who is having 4 or 5 diseases, and you are really not understanding what treatment I have to give. And you go back to lab, prepare a drug, come and give to patient. So earlier it was bench to patient. Now it is patient to bench. You have a patient ready. You know how patient is behaving. You know what are the abnormalities of patients. You try to understand how I can discover a drug, herbal drug or Unani drug to give a treatment, and you go back to the lab and you bring a drug. Yes, preclinical studies, these are on animals, and clinical research, this is one thing which we are focusing. Understand one thing, if you have data, believe it. If you don't have data, please don't believe it. So we don't believe if you don't have data. So that is the importance of data. If someone is coming and saying that, boss, this drug is super good, I'll say that you show me a protocol. You show me the result of the studies which you have performed on human beings. Then I'll accept it. Yes, I'll accept it. If you show an evidence that how you tested it, how you have submitted it. So one more time, I'll give an example of Sputnik. Everyone knows about Sputnik. I'm sorry. Sputnik was a vaccine which was being developed in Russia. Now, all the world people, why Sputnik we have not believed is because they have only tested on 36 to 50 human beings, 36 to 50 human beings on the vaccine. So we have not believed it. When they said that we want to sell the vaccine in India, we said, no, we cannot give this vaccine approval because you have tested only on 50 people. And this is very big pandemic situation. We can't take a risk now. Now then Dr. Reddy's came into picture. They had gone into collaboration with them. And now Reddy's is testing more than 20,000 patients or 20,000 healthy volunteers for Sputnik vaccine. So we don't believe on short-term results. We want a huge number of data. Covaxin, Bharat Biotech, they are testing on 26,000 subjects, 26,000 subjects. So you can understand that how much they are rigorously testing for a vaccine to bring into the market. So that is what I'm going to discuss. And most of the times, if FDA reviews and approves it, the rest of countries will approve it because FDA has very stringent regulations. So FDA review is very costly and it takes time also. But FDA has approved 2 vaccines as of now in US also. One is Pfizer and one is Moderna for COVID. And it was being tested for a long-term safeties and long-term efficacies. And we have seen some of the serious adverse events with Pfizer vaccine, which is allergic reactions. When you take Covaxin, you have 2 or 3 patients or 2 or 3 subjects have reported that severe itching was there. And it was reversible, but they have given a recall message saying that don't take if you're allergic to any vaccines. So these are all things comes into clinical research. So we are the people who test this, we are the people who understands this, and we are the people who gives the answers for any kind of research based questions. We are from healthcare professionals and we have to believe on the data which is really tested and which is really sound to understand what is happening with that herbal drug. And yes, what are the essentials to start a clinical trials in humans? So simple questions, I'll break it down. Now, for example, one Unani doctor is there in this session who wants to do one clinical trial. And one Unani doctor is there who wants to go and work in this clinical research. Either it is allopathy or Ayurvedic or whatever it is. We're all in the same field. So you wanted to work or you wanted to start a clinical trial. The first team, I hope you have books and pens so that you can make a note. The first team in clinical trials is medical writing team. medical writing team. So now, before you start any clinical trials, the first activity you have to do is searching the literature. Search as much as literature you can find out, and then you start creating the documents, the draft plan for conducting clinical trials. So now the draft plan for conducting clinical trials is your research protocol. You have to have your protocol before anything comes into picture. So that is the team which is called as medical writing team. Okay, these people will be paid huge salaries, and yes, all kind of doctors, pharmacologists will be given preference in medical writing. So first job is medical writing. These people are responsible to develop first document which is called as protocol or informed consent form. I think let's take a step back, and I want to do a clinical trial on human beings. Now, when you are doing the clinical trials on human beings, we have to follow the standards of international standards, and informed consent is so much important. If you are using this data for submission purpose, if you are collecting any information from the subject, we should take a consent saying that, boss, we want to conduct a trial on you, or we want to use your data for getting approval. So you have to have a document which is called as informed consent form. So, and this form also will be developed by a medical writing team. And yes, where do we collect the data? Where do we collect the data? So on papers, most probably our answers is no. We are not collecting on papers. Paper studies are merely to absolute. We are not using papers. We are using electronic systems. How many of us have believed that sitting at homes we will listen this webinars? So most of us may say no. We are addicted to have a board, book, pen, all those things. But now we are in a standard of electronic systems, and we are sitting at homes and we are listening to the sessions and we are learning it. So now CEFRs, case report forms, how you develop it, how you submit it. So the first three documents, medical writing team, first team is protocol and case report form and informed consent form. And yes, in allopathy, we may get investigator brochure. In Ayurvedic and Unani also, you can develop an investigator brochure. Investigator brochure is a document which speaks about all the details about investigational drug product, that what are the safety concerns, what are the efficacy concerns, and all those things will be spoken in investigator brochure. Once the medical writing team, so you have first job which is called as medical writing team. Once your medical writing team is completed, either it is protocol, ICF, case report form, investigator brochure is completed. Now the next activity is we have to get approval from ethics committee. So now you have one more opportunity here. Having an ethics committee by your own or working in ethics committee is one. So two things. Ethics committee is the people who reviews these all documents and will say that yes, it's a safer trial, you can go ahead. So we have very stringent regulations. It's not so easy that I woke up and said that okay, chalo, we'll do this. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult because we have to see right safety and well-being of trial subjects are being protected and data is not being manipulated. So data is accurate and reliable. So these are all questions which ethics committee. So there is one more team now. I'm saying that ethics committee also you can work, and ethics committee you have to get approval before you start a clinical trial. So we have not started a trial. We have just given a protocol, CRF and ICF and IP, and we went to ethics committee. And if ethics committee gives approval, so now the next jobs will come. I hope I'm audible. Yes. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Oh,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yeah, someone has requested. I think my screen is visible. I think, right?
Sir, your screen is visible, but only the first slide. Just want to check with you. You are going for the second slide, or you can just kept the first slide.
Okay. Thank you. So now you are able to see my screen. Now is this visible? I'm in medical writing. Now is this visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry guys. If it is full screen, then only the first screen is coming, I think. So I'm really sorry for that. So is that fine? Is that visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is about medical writing team. So fine, medical writing team has completed their works, and medical writing team has developed the documents, and we went to essential documents to the ethics committee, and ethics committee has approved it. And the next part comes as we have to start a clinical trials. And now when you are starting a clinical trial, the first thing is you can work as an investigator. You can work as an investigator. So now what is investigator? A doctor who is conducting a clinical trial and who makes sure that right, safety and well-being of trial subjects are being protected. So now the second job is you can work as an investigators, because if any UNANI clinical trials are there, then as per regulations, it's only the UNANI doctors, either it is MDs or any specialization UNANI doctors can conduct the clinical trials, and they will be paid from the sponsors as an investigator. Yes, apart from this, when you are conducting a clinical trial, you can work as a CRCs, which is Clinical Research Coordinator, and one more is Clinical Research Associate. Clinical Research Coordinators and Clinical Research Associates. So these are, one more time, different kinds of jobs which you can work. And yes, what are the qualities of a medical writer? What are the qualities you should have as a medical writer? So you should have a domain knowledge, and you should have the therapeutic areas knowledge, and you should also have a regulatory knowledge, and you should have logical writing skills, and you should maintain the accuracy, consistency and security. So these are the qualities of a medical writer. Very good. So now more updates. You should have literature search and independent outlook, and interpersonal skills and project management skills are required for medical writers. Yes. And yes, what happens with the subject? So now you have conducted a clinical trial. During conduct of clinical trial, you have investigator, you have CRC, you have CRA, and you are conducting the clinical trials, and you are collecting the data. So now the DATA, data, this is so much important. Now, as Farooqi sir has said, before taking a drug, during taking a drug, after taking a drug. So now I want the points to be developed. When what is happening to subject is considered as data, you collect the data in form of case report form. And now here one more team comes up, which is called as clinical data management. So here also you have lot of jobs, either it is database administration or user acceptance testing or discrepancy management. Clinical data management also is working on these aspects. Now if you carefully see here on the first part we have given a protocol development, and the second part we have given that CRF development, how the data will be collected, whichever report it is, and then the third point is the database, how you are collecting the data, and then you are collecting and validating the data, you are cleaning the data, and then you are locking the data, and you are analyzing the data. You are conducting clinical trial, you are collecting the data, you are cleaning the data, and you are analyzing the data, and you are writing the report. Now in this one slide we have 4 to 5 teams where you can work. So the first team is protocol development, medical writers, CRF development, medical writers, database designers, clinical data managers, validation data managers, and then statistical analysis team and report writing team. So this many teams are there where Unani doctors can work, irrespective of what system you are using. If you want to really test your drug, yes, of course you can do. If you want to work in other companies like IT companies, Accenture or Cognizant or IBM or Oracle, you can take it up any kind of job, either it is clinical trials or data management or pharmacovigilance or SAS or medical writers or pharmacovigilance. So this many jobs are there in this particular slide. So without making much delay, I'll go ahead with the next one. This is very interesting. This is called as pharmacovigilance process. Now what is pharmacovigilance? Let's break these points. Pharmaco. So now pharmaco means a drug and vigilance is to keep a watch. Pharmaco is a drug and vigilance is to keep a watch. Now any adverse events, either it is unexpected adverse event or expected adverse event, has to be collated and has to be submitted to the regulatory bodies. But the story looks very simple, but this many teams are there in pharmacovigilance. Yes, of course, yes, as you are all doctors, you can work in this team, pharmacovigilance team. There are so many jobs in pharmacovigilance, particularly in industry as of now. So now, these are the different types of cases you will get. Either it is clinical trial case or spontaneous case or literature cases. You will take a case and you will review it and you will do a QC of these cases and you will output a case. Either you will submit as individual case or you will submit as an aggregate case. So this is a nutshell pharmacovigilance, that you collect a problem, you submit a problem, you resolve a problem about a drug. Either it is herbal or ayur or any product which you are taking. This is the nutshell pharmacovigilance process. So identification of problem, understanding the problem, reporting the problem, resolving the problem, preventing the problem. So this is what you call it as pharmacovigilance process. Here huge jobs opportunities are there. The people who are working in clinical research or the people who are working in doctors, they can work in this pharmacovigilance process. So I have said different kinds of team. First is medical writing. I have said ethics committee. I have said investigators. I have said CRAs. I have said CRCs. I have said data management. I have said statistics. I have said medical writing. I have said pharmacovigilance. So this many teams are there in clinical research, and every team is scientifically evaluated. This is the only work which only the people, healthcare professionals can work. Other than healthcare professionals, no one else can work. I'll continue. So now this is one more time a nutshell. Pharmacovigilance. It is adverse event. You collect an adverse event and you intake a case and you understand and process a case and you report a case either to health authorities or to your business partners. So this is in a nutshell how the pharmacovigilance happens. You collect an adverse event, you process an adverse event, and you report an adverse event to healthcare authorities or to business partners. So this is what is in a nutshell pharmacovigilance. We all can work in pharmacovigilance. This is one more time a scope of the work. Yeah, my next slide, which is the different kinds of jobs. The first one is CRA, which is Clinical Research Associate. Now this jobs, Clinical Research Associate jobs, are being asked how you can monitor the clinical trials. How you can monitor the clinical trials. This is what you call it as CRA. These people are being paid huge salaries. And there is one more person who is called as Clinical Research Analyst, who will conduct the clinical trials along with investigators. And there is a people who are clinical research project managers. So there is persons who are involved in project management, saying that what should be the budget, how many subjects should be there, when we should start this clinical trial, when we should end the clinical trial, how we are going to submit this literature or publication to the government authorities or to the national publication policies. And there is one more time clinical research physicians and clinical pharmacist and clinical research coordinator, clinical data managers, medical reviewers, drug safety associate. And where can I work? Where can I work? So this is the simple question, where can I work? You can work in IT companies. You name IT company, either it is Accenture, Cognizant, TCS, or your Wipro or IBM or Oracle, Deloitte. All these companies will hire clinical research professional because they have their own organization. And contract research organizations, you can work in hospitals, you can work in ethics committee, you can work in investigator initiated trial, you can work in pharmaceutical companies, either it is Unani or allopathy. You can work in central regulatory agencies, government jobs, central government and state government jobs also you can work. So these are the careers in a very short span. If I can explain, this has lot of openings we have in clinical research, either it is medical writer, data manager, statistics, or pharmacovigilance, or clinical research investigators. Now, what is Clinosol is offering? So these are the listed courses which Clinosol is offering. Integrated PG Diploma in Clinical Research and Project Management, Diploma in Data Science and Clinical Research, Pharmacovigilance, Drug Regulatory Affairs, Applied Statistics in Clinical Trials, Data Mappings, Data Management and Statistical Analysis, and Medical Affairs. So these are the listed jobs which are being provided by Clinosol. And why Clinosol? Because as a discussion standard, because we are working on human beings, right drugs and right things should be coming. So we have an ISO standards, and we were national award winners for 2020 for highest placement during COVID lockdown. So everyone was worried that lockdown will lose jobs, but we have got more jobs. So irrespective of whatever it is, humans need drugs and which are safer and effective. So we need clinical research and highest placement records. So expert industry trainers, interactive and practical real-time based learnings, online courses, complementary courses, industry expert interactions, CRO visits, blogs, research articles, review articles, and leadership skill enhancement to grow as future leaders and entrepreneurs. So this is my last slide. It looks very happy whenever I reach to last slide. If anyone has any research project in your mind, you can always ping me. So the above numbers or office numbers, the mail IDs is HR mail ID. You can always ping to this mail ID and phone numbers, and you can discuss about your research project. I'll help you to explain how to get fundings also. If your research project is super good, the government of India also will give you funding. You just have to showcase your research project in terms of protocol, and you just have to do a very scientific evidence based. So my sincere request is, as much as possible, we should be updated to knowledge, and jobs are no less than as of now, because the highest spoken word now in the pandemic is clinical research, clinical trials of the vaccines. So you can understand that how much we want the research to happen on the new vaccine and new drug. So I will open for questions. People have any questions, you can ask me, and I hope it was short. I know because it was post-lunch session, so I wanted to mainly focus on different kinds of jobs, so which I have done. So I have not taken care much about it, but definitely at any point of time, if you want one more webinar for any kind of activities, either it is medical writing or ethics committee or data management or statistics or pharmacovigilance or report writing or HEOR, you can let me know. I'll be happy to come and take a session. So you can go ahead with question.
Mujib sir, myself Dr. Farooqi.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank you for a great presentation on research protocols. And the first thing is that our PG scholars want to contact you, and we will have an extended meeting from your side at our college. and provided if you give some time. And the second most thing is that I am very much there involved in research protocols and research trials, particularly from my side at my clinic, at my hospital, and at my research center also. Is a small research center is there at Bashir Bagh, and we are doing alhamdulillah good research on what you call patients. And I'm the first person to call you after the completion of this what you call webinar, inshallah. Very much thank you. Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. It looks like we have some questions.
Anybody want to question? Just what you call raise your questions, and please convey your presentations very loudly and very spaciously.
Can anyone collect the questions from YouTube and please let me know the questions so that I can answer? Or anyone from this team has any questions, you can please let me know. I'll be able to answer that.
One thing I want to clarify from Dr. Mujib sir, is a question, what you call the cell number is 9121 1151622.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, right. And last 3 digits is extended 623 and 624 is also there. There are these 3 numbers.
Yes.
And anything you required in person, personally from the Mujib sir, you can ring him and you can call him at any leisure time, which he will mention, inshallah.
Right. Yes. So I think we are getting some questions, Nuri. If you can get the questions, or someone from this panel can ask questions, because people are asking some questions. So I think some people have asked, what is the scope of Unani entrepreneurship? So obviously entrepreneurship is a very tough job. People will think that entrepreneurs are very easy way to go, but probably it is very tough job.
It's a big job also. Yeah, it's a big job also.
I would like to take 1 hour of the session for how to become an entrepreneur. So
obviously
probably that is, but yeah, definitely you can become an entrepreneur for this. Yes. And yeah.
Sir, shall I take the question, sir?
Yes, please.
So there is a question, do you provide services for manuscripts publications?
Yes.
So
any kind of research work, you can contact us. I will help you. As I said, you just have to come out of box and give the content in a very good written way, because you have to focus on international standard. Come out of box. Don't think that my drug has to only reach to 10 or 20 patients. Reach to millions of patients across the globe. Have a wonderful data and details about your article or manuscript. Yes, we will provide.
So there is a question, how we can start research in private clinic with single and compound drugs?
Probably first thing I will suggest you is first search a literature about your molecule, what you are thinking. If there is enough evidence about your literatures and you have any new questions, objectives to go ahead, you can come up with a scope of plan and protocol, and definitely I will help you, because say if it is already been tested and it is already been, you are having answers, then you don't need to test it once again for the same kind of situations. So if you have very new questions, objectives, which will benefit in humanity, yes, definitely I can help you out. And you can start in your own clinic. As Farooqi sir said, there is no big requirement, no big money required in conducting clinical trials.
Yeah, obviously.
And, you can do it by sitting at your location. Yes.
Okay.
How can we start? Like, I have some data on compound drugs. What is the process to show it globally?
If you have data, the first question I will ask you is, have you taken consent from the subjects where you have collected? Because we normally collect the data, because patient comes and you write a prescription and you think that that is a data. But you can't use that data unless and until the subject or patient approves that we can use that data. So any kind of studies, you should have a necessary approvals from the subjects as well as ethics committee. I will tell you one secret here. If you want to conduct a clinical trial globally, or if you want to get the drug globally, you should have an ethics committee approval. Even if you go for publication, they will come and ask that, have you taken the ethics committee approval? So this is where the training, the knowledge, and the standards, understanding aspects should be there. That how safe we can get approval without getting questions. Because we are working on human beings, and there are so many problems when you are working on new drugs with human beings. One small mistake also will lead to big problems.
Sir, what is the process of research in Unani medicine by Unani practitioner in clinic?
Yeah, that's what I one more time reiterated. There are certain guidelines which India has given. So I have shown the guidelines of international standards. So to understand about Indian guidelines, probably I would require 1 more hour of session, how you can conduct the Unani research. And government is spending a lot of money in Ayush products. So that's a good news for us. Ayush products, they are spending so much of money, either it is Ayurveda, Unani or Siddha or whatever it is, they are spending a lot of money if you are having a wonderful research project. So open your wings and come up with a plan, get approvals from ethics committee or regulatory bodies and start a clinical trial at your home also. And these trials will be called as investigator initiated trials. You don't need a sponsor also. You are a doctor, you can start your own trial.
Sir, how to apply for these jobs? What is the route to get an entry into an IT company or to be like a research associate and research officer?
Yes, so I think Clinosol, you can follow us in Clinosol. There is a Facebook page or Instagram page and LinkedIn. So we keep on posting the jobs there. You can apply for the jobs and companies will take interviews and you can go for these jobs. And currently also we have a lot of openings. You can contact us and we will be able to send you for the jobs. Yes.
There's a small question from my side.
Yes.
I think the need of the hour is the mindset should be created in between what you call the people who are doing Unani practice.
Right.
And it's very difficult for a Unani physicians to come up with a good idea and implement it practically. And the second question is that I think that's very eminent is that the Unani physician is not having that much funding which is required to do the research. And they should know their own limitations, number one point, and their approach. And unless until he approaches proper what you call people, and he will not or she will not get a proper guidelines from them. And you people from Clinosol is doing great work. It's high hats off to you, and go ahead and continue your efforts. And hope that our institute will be what you call a member of understanding with you, inshallah, in future. Thank you.
Right. Thanks.
Sir, one more question is there. How to utilize that independent institutional ethical committee, sir?
One more time, this will half an hour, 40 minutes of session. That how many people should be there in independent ethics committee? There should be a retired judge or a lawyer.
So if someone is working at a clinic, how can he approach an independent ethical committee, sir?
Yeah, there are so many independent ethics committee. If you are needing for any trial approval, you can let me know. I will get in touch with the ethics committee and you can contact that ethics committee. You can submit your documents and they will approve your documents. If your trial is necessary for the society.
Okay.
Sure.
Sir, any guidelines for students?
Guidelines for students as much as possible. Read articles, blogs, and latest happenings. So you can follow us on Clinosol, Facebook, and Instagram and LinkedIn, where we will be posting our students' articles they write. The only suggestion which I can give is come out of your comfort zone. So don't think that whatever you know is everything. There are so many questions which you can answer and which you can make the society as benefited. So that's my request. Now, I'll give a small example. COVID has stopped everything, lockdown, everything. But still we conducted clinical trial virtually. Patient used to sit at home. We used to send the drugs in a courier, and patient used to take a drug. Patient used to enter the data into mobile, and we used to take that data and we used to submit to regulatory bodies. So everyone was sitting. So this is something beauty called as virtual clinical trials. So as much as possible, take help of technology. Use technology with your Unani medicine to get approval, the right drugs, how data can be collected and how data can be validated and how data can be approved. So this is my suggestion. So always you can knock my door. I'm just a message away or a mail away. So I hope this was useful session.
So one more thing, sir. There are many female doctors, Unani doctors, who are in abroad. They want to do some work to represent their system, but it's like they are not having any platform to utilize their knowledge. So how can these courses help them, and how they can involve themselves into the virtual clinical trials, sir?
Yeah, see, one thing is there is no requirement as of now that a Unani doctor should be there near to patient. So because a person who is there in the site can collect the data and send it back to Unani doctor, and once the data is collected, and when we see the data in an analytical way, we will understand that what is the trends of data, how safe this drug is. For example, you have taken 10,000 patients. Out of 10,000 patients, only 10 patients have given a side effect. Your drug is super safe. But your 10,000 patients are not at all reacting to your drug. Your drug is utter waste because only 10 adverse events. But no treatment is available. So this is something which you have to think logically, and yes, virtually, remotely also you can conduct clinical trial. I'm always there to respond to you through messages or mails. But come with a plan. Don't come with a blank questions. Please do your literature search and come with your complete planning. That what do you want to do and how do you want to do? Then I can suggest you huge things. But if you put all questions to me only, I will say that I don't know. You have to.
Obviously, it's a big job that you are doing. And unfortunately, we people are there to ask you such questions repeatedly. And we need a good session, and that should be offline also. And if it is possible in the days to come, and I hope that your services will be utilized in our what you call premises, that is Nizami Tibbi College, where the people are doing good research, and hope that you are aware of all such things, I think. And inshallah, in future also, we will contact you, inshallah.
Yes, sir. I should appreciate the work which is being taken by Gausia madam and Asma madam and Farooqi sir, because these people have initiated very shortly, and you have made the session to be successful. So all kudos to the team of FUMO. So without you people, we would not have reached to Unani doctors. And this is the first webinar for me for Unani doctors, and I'm very fortunate. I'm very happy.
Shall we proceed, madam? Shall we proceed?
It looks like we have covered all of our questions. Sir, is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap up?
I'm done. Thank you.
There is no such thing as incurable. There is only things for which man has not found cure. Research is the distance between an idea and its realization. Thank you, C.S. Mujibuddin, sir. Now I request Professor Dr. M.A. Farooqi, sir, for a vote of thanks.
First of all, I would like to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving this such a good opportunity to be present in front of these people, and the FUMO, the organization of the FUMO, as well as the Clinisol, Mujibuddin Sahab, which has given an immense, what you call, in-depth analysis about the research protocol. and Gausia Tabassum, who's asking the questions, and she's pursuing a PhD from JMI. Dr. Asman, who is founder and general secretary of the PMO, and the major question which is striking me is the evidence-based studies, and that is to be what you call learned, and it should be practically there in our minds, and each and every Unani physician know about the evidence-based studies. Unless and until you don't do the evidence-based studies, nobody is going to accept your vertical potential. Nobody is going to accept your vertical science. And you know that Unani system of medicine is as old as the humanity itself. From the Adam alayhi salam to now, present, the 2020, each and everything comes out of the vertical nature. Each and everything, nothing is unnatural, nothing is chemical bound, and each and everything has to be based from the nature. And that should be there in our mind, that we are the what you call the founder of the health system. And unfortunately, the Unani physician is not at all behaving like this. That is the what you call painful condition we people are suffering with. And I request all the Unani physicians to at least prescribe one Unani drug in your day-to-day practice. Unless and until you don't do it, you are not supporting your own system. And if you prescribe allopathic medicine instead of having Unani system of medicine, and if you what you call you want to appreciate yourself, that will not be there. And that's what the nature is there, and save the nature, save your system, and it should be there, inshallah, in our mind. And I request Mujib sir, Dr. Asma and Dr. Gausia Tabassum to conduct again and again, so that our minds will be refreshed from what we call this type of lecture, this type of presentation. And I request all the people to give your feedback on this presentation of Mr. Mujib sir, and from the what you call the team of PMO as well as Clinisol. And I would like to thank each and everybody in this forum, in this what you call program, was attended in this program. And I request all the people to give some feedback and be careful that while practicing, that you are being watched by the world. You are being watched by the world, and everything that comes out from you should be clinically tested and clinically acclaimed by the world. Inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakallah khair.
Inshallah. With growing interest in herbal drug development that is proven to have minimal to no side effects, there are better opportunities to explore the medicinal and other biological properties of previously inaccessible natural products. To establish its usefulness, it's mandatory to focus on the identification of unused herbal plants with special emphasis in the extraction, isolation, and characterization of its physiochemical, which is a gift of nature in a rational and scientific way. There is an unmet need for utilization of natural products for benefits of humankind and development of a new lead for drug discovery. The success of natural product drug discovery is essential related to their ability to able the meet with socioeconomic benefits for well-being of common person as a growing technological world. Health is use of the top priorities. I would like to offer my sincere thanks to our chief guest of the day, Dr. Muhammad Ehsan Farooqi sir, and our guest speaker, Mr. C.S. Mujibuddin sir. I also would like to convey my special thanks to my fellow friends from FUMO who have initiated this event with the kind support of Clinisol Research Private Limited. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the registrants and audience who are watching us live today and helping us in reaching you with addressing the challenges and the future for a better and brighter career, thus by providing better healthcare to humankind. I hope you have all enjoyed the informative assembly organized by FUMO today. It is my honor and privilege now to give a vote of thanks to all those who helped make this meeting happen. This meeting has about raising awareness and encouraging kindness to bring up interest in research. So I think that's really good to keep in mind. Great. Thank you, everyone.